right, so last week we were here, we were working on some basic full guard attacks. I didn't know that. So now we're going to be working on a basic sweep and submission series. So just a very basic hip bump sweep. That way we can set up a couple sweep options, couple submission options all at the same time. So we're here, I'm fighting with Jordan. Let's say I just work on that same grip I was working here. But as I'm hitting this grip, I'm going to pull Jordan down with my arm here. Because what I want him to do is I want him to try to posture and really lean back to get away from this grip. Most of us are grown adult men. If I pull your head down, what's your natural reaction? It's going to be sit back, right? That's great. That's what I want. I'm going to pull you in. Yeah, I want you real tight, Jordan. So that way when he comes in, I'm going to open my guard. I'm going to post the opposite hand into the mat and the opposite foot. So I'm here and here. Once I'm here, this hand, I want my armpit over his shoulder. That's how far I need to be sitting up. So one of the mistakes I see on this a lot is guys will pull them down and then they'll come here. And then they get body locked down because you suck. So when I'm here, boom, I post and I explode my hips up. As I do that, I'm going to wrap, find this elbow to push it across. And I'm not taking him back. I'm not taking him to the side. I'm taking him at this 45 like I'm trying to kick Chad right in the face. Whee! Boom. That's what allows me to kick through. And in an ideal world, you land in a nice mount. Uncivilized things as needed. Chokes, punches, kicks, all that. So we're here. I'm working with Jordan. We're attacking. I'm doing stuff. I bait him down. I'm going to pull hard. I'm going to try to get him here. He goes to posture. I sit. Post. Here. Elbow. I want this deep. And I'm exploding my hips up so that it rolls over. Takes the sweep. Once you're here, guys, realize there's going to be some momentum. You need to brace and hold here. Because if not, if I'm here and I start to bring Jordan over, what a lot of people do is they'll just keep rolling. And you'll end up back in the full guard. So when you're doing this, you need to base as soon as you hit the mount. So I'm here, I pull Jordan down, he sits up. As I come up, I post, drive my hips through, hip over, boom. I'm here, I pull my feet up to my butt, and I look to bait as much as I can. Now, when I'm here, one of the mistakes I see a lot of people make, they try to grapevine or Saturday night ride the legs. So a lot of you to maintain mount will do this. Realize all that does is traps your own feet. When I'm here, cross my heels under the butt, pull my heels to my butt. Jordan, move your hips. My hips are in your hips. That's why I stay mounted, guys. Because I lock my hips to your hips. Really hard to move that way. If you move, I move. You move, we move. What's that song? Yeah, I move, right? So that's the goal when I get to that mount is I get those heels crossed, I pull my butt them into my butt, and I lock my hips. That's going to stabilize, base your hands, get your three, get your points, then move on to the next piece. Questions on this? Real simple hip bump sweep.
So every time that I posted my foot on the ground, you told me that they could easily step over. What's preventing them from doing that in this?
Hip explosion. So when I'm here, boom. The goal of this is not to beat, post, and do something. When I'm here, as I pull him back, game speed, this is a lot quicker. I'm hitting that about half speed. But if me and Jordan are actually rolling here and we're doing stuff, I pull. Boom. Speed. Okay. In general, do you want to post and just stay there? No. But intense. I told you not to post when you're cutting angles and things like that in sub. Because that's the biggest step. Make sense? Yes. As in all things, everything is situational. Don't post your hands on the mat, except when you're basing in mount. Don't lay flat on your back, except when you're, there's different rules, right?
Know the rules, break the rules.
Yeah, know the rules, break them as needed. Mendoza.
So when you gonna go for, so you want to bring stab your hip to almost to the armpit?
My cup should break his sternum. That's how high and hard I'm exploding through this. When I'm here, My hips don't stay flat on the mat. This isn't a... When I'm here, I'm driving up. Here. My elbow should be all the way back here. Some guys will grab the back of the belt. I'm not keen on that. One, because most people suck at tying their belt. And two, it's gi heavy. I like my stuff to be gi no gi. That's why the tricep grab's universal. But when I'm here, my cup is blowing into Jordan's chest here. I want him to know how happy I am to see him. And when I'm here, I kick that over so that also I land in a more stable mount. Because if you leave your hips low, you're going to land low in mount, which is going to make Jordan's motion a lot easier on his account. It's going to be harder to stabilize your mount, easier for him to escape. So yes, I'm blowing my hips and chest and everything up, so that way when I change directions, I have a better base and I'm in better position.
You're not doing anything different than like Kimura sweep, right?
No.
It's exactly the same.
Hip bump, Kimura sweep, yeah. Because the goal here is then when they go to counter, you reach back and grip more. Questions on this?
No, sir.
Oh.
I know a lot of this is like a sense of urgency. Is there any time to settle in on any one?
Mount. Mount. Once you've decided that we're going until we hit mount. Once you hit mount, stabilize, hang out. But from I'm deciding to go to I hit mount is go time. There's not a post up and pause or anything like that. You go.
Live sequence, it should be...
When I'm here, live sequence, me and Jordan are going, right? He's trying to pass my guard, I'm trying to do stuff. I catch him sitting up, bop. Boom, base, settle in, then you're done. But till basically from go to mount, you need to be go. There's not a time to hang out in this one.
When you grab the arm and you're coming across, are you pushing it in? Or are you actually...
A little bit, tucking it into my hip bone. So when I'm here, I'm just trying to push it across. Because all I'm trying to do is make sure he doesn't post. Makes this a lot hard. So I'm just making sure that doesn't have a good time to post. Just kind of chopping it out from underneath him. I don't need it in my armpit or in my hip, just off the mat is the goal there.
Left leg, kicking out his base.
Little bit, not as important. You're driving across more. Other questions? Driller out. 1, 2, wait. So I'm here with Jordan. Everything's going well in my life because I have Jordan, right? So I pull Jordan down, he sits back up, he postures real hard. That's great. I go to sit up, I go to come up, and for whatever reason, just not confident, right? Jordan's a big, strong guy. I mean, look at these muscles. He's Grandma's strong boy, right? All those things. Let's say for whatever reason, I just don't feel the confidence in coming across this. All we're gonna do, this hand, instead of just stopping at the elbow, is gonna feed in. I'm gonna look to fall back into my opposite hip. The foot that is posted, I wanna get all the way onto that hip. Once we're there, I'm gonna look for the wrist, and I'm gonna look to connect my wrist to my hand. My hand shouldn't go find my wrist. Does that make sense? So I'm here, I'm not reaching this hand to find my wrist. I'm bringing his wrist to my hand. Once we're here, I'm gonna reclose my guard, but I'm gonna keep my hips and chest turned. Once we're here, I'm gonna throttle his wrist forward, and I'm gonna look to put his wrist on the back of his neck. Turning, not with my arms, my chest and my back. So I'm here. I'm fighting with Jordan. Good things are happening. Boom, he goes to sit up. I don't like it. I didn't have a good sit up. I didn't have good power. I suck at jiu-jitsu. Who knows, right? All I'm going to do, feed this hand, fall back. Once we're here, reclose your guard, find the wrist. Wrist finds your hand. Pull this in. Now, I like to connect the point of his elbow to my chin. Here. Throttle the wrist. Turn. Now, I'm making a point to turn with my chest and my back. Evan, can you imagine why?
Because it's probably stronger than yours.
Think about it this way. When have I ever told you to fight fair? Never. Jiu-jitsu is the least fair fighting sport you can ever run into. The entire point of jiu-jitsu is to isolate and chop your opponent down to the littlest part of their body that you can find, fighting the most big parts of your body. So all I'm doing here is getting Jordan cut down to where I'm just fighting his arm versus both my arms, my chest, and my back. Who do you think wins that fight 9 times out of 10? Me, right? If I try to flex with just his arms versus my arms, you can lose that fight. JJ exists, right? Like, his dumb ass is just too strong some days, right? He'll just like straighten out of it. So when I'm here and I'm fighting these grips, right? I'm here, I come back, right? If I just try to go here, Jordan, straighten your hand. I may get it. It's gonna take me a hot second. Watch this. Chest and back into it, it's a much different party. That's why we fight that way. I don't fight Jordan fair. I like Jordan. Doesn't mean we're gonna fight fair. I'm gonna fight his arm, my chest, back, and arms. I win. Right? So I'm here. Boom, I pull him down. Boom, I go to come up. I don't like to sit up for whatever reason. I feed that hand, get to that far side hip, close my guard. I like to pinch the knees even a little here. The wrist finds my hand, elbow to chin, throttle the wrist, turn. Now, make sure you turn slowly with your friends. We like each other here. Realize this surgery 6 months before you pick up a gallon of milk, a year before you roll live probably. Careful with your friends. Questions on this?
When you bring the wrist to,
Yes.
as opposed to the other way, if you end up screwing up into the opposite, can you adjust?
Yeah, if I'm here, and let's say I've reached through, right, and I reach and grab my wrist, yes, all you have to do at that point is still pull the chin in and bring this to. Pull your elbows to your chest, because that'll allow you to still get to this position faster and easier if you just go there first, as opposed to reaching through and then pulling. Other questions on this?
I got one. So when you do the hip bump,
Yes, sir.
then you sit back and kind of strip it out immediately?
Yes, as soon as my hips come back down, I don't want to just let him, I'm reaching here and fall back this way, right? Because we're now, one, I've covered the wrist I'm trying to attack. Two, I'm not in a great positional strength-wise. Like positionally, I'm not very strong. But two, it also doesn't give me much leverage here. So once I'm here, I sit up, I come back, boom, I'm instantly turning that. A couple reasons. Pops the wrist I want out. But two, I'm also positionally stronger. Even if I don't attack this arm at all, right? I can start doing other things here.
You just got it pinched.
Yeah.
The arm pinched.
Because once I'm here and I fall backwards, right? Boom. Have that pinch, I'm reaching this hand through. Boom. Find the wrist. Finish. Does that make sense? So I'm getting to that opposite hip so that one, gives you better mobility, it exposes the thing you're attacking, but it also gives you better leverage and strength. Just like anything, any good lift, right? You have to be in position for it. Same thing with this. That getting to that opposite hip allows you to be in good position. Other questions? 1, 2, 3. All right, so I'm here with Jordan. Good things are happening. I pulled down, he sits up, I come up, right? Everything's here. But as I'm coming back, let's just say I don't want to hit that Kimura. He's a big, strong kid. I'm not good at Kimuras. I want to take him out. Variety of options of why, right? So boom, I explode up here. All we're going to do is I'm going to look to wrap his head, and I'm going to look for that back elbow.
There you go.
Right? As I fall back here, I'm going to look to get to that hip and turn over here. So as we're here, boom, I explode up, wrap back, here, take him over.
Work off of.
It's a 1-2 sweep, right? I pull back, 1, 2. Nice part with this is, guys, if you get the timing right on this, it's hard to counter. Because what happens is a lot of guys, as I come up here, he grabs my body and tries to drive back into me.
Stay there, stay there, stay there,
Here.
stay there.
Here. Come back over.
Stay there, stay there.
The number one counter to a hip bump sweep is that body lock. That's the benefit of this sweep is jiu-jitsu. Counter to the counter till someone dies, right? I pull him down. He counters that by sitting up. I sit up with him. He counters that by body locking. Boom. I counter that by rolling through. Once you're here, realize holding this head is going to get you nowhere. Get rid of that. Cross your hands. Surf again. Get back to good position. Eli.
Are you sweeping like a scissor sweep?
Yep. Kicking that leg out as you're coming through and driving those hips through. The hip motion is going to feel weird. But realize, partners, when you're drilling this, you have to drive into them a little bit. Not a lot, but he has to drive in. So when I'm here, as I'm up, I'm using that leg to kick out, kick over, and through.
Are you going to the armpit intentionally, or is that just what you're catching?
So I'm going to grab into armpit, tricep, depending on my reach and his body size.
Okay, so you're not actually going for a guillotine.
No, this is not like a guillotine reach through. What I'm looking for here is control. So when I come through here, I'm reaching for this area as much as possible. I want to stop the post.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So as I'm falling back here, if he feels this, he's going to try to post. And I have to grab that out to be able to do it.
That answers the one.
So he's going to grab into my body. 9 times out of 10, right? Jordan goes to hip bump sweep me, right? I don't suck at jiu-jitsu. I feel him sit up. Oh, thank you. No, thank you. Right? The immediate, I suck at jiu-jitsu, just natural reaction. Grab him, sit back down, sir. Not polite of you to try to do that. So when I'm there, the natural reaction locks my hands up anyway. But if he starts to sweep me that way, I will post. So while he's reaching and driving into me there, I just let that arm stay so that it can't come back out. Because if I'm here, I don't expect Jordan to do this well. If he does, I'll be impressed though. All right? Boom, I sit up, boom. As I drive back into him, he's reaching back this way to stop me from doing this. So as he's driving back this way, that's all he's looking for. Is just blocking that post. Because that post can slow you down or stop everything that you're trying to do. So I'm just cupping that, not to reach through for like a guillotine or anything like that. Could you? Eli, maybe. But the rest of us normal armed people, probably not. So I'm looking to cup that elbow, cup that armpit, just stop the post arm.
What if when you're doing the hip bump, like, I know you're doing it faster, obviously, but like, if they try to react, how you said, instinctively to like wrap you back around, what if they try wrapping you back around, and then also grab the post, like, next to it and all that?
So, just to make sure I'm hearing you right. Boom, I post up, he tries to grab that wrist.
And like, pull you, okay.
You may have to break a body lock. It may slow you down a bit, but it may not stop what you're up to. Realize there's always counter to the counter in everything, right? Showing you the broad strokes. Yeah, all it does is trap his arms into me more, which is only helping me at that point. Other questions on this?
What if they, sometimes they get like wrestling types where when they pressure forward, they extend their legs more?
Oh yeah, if he extends his legs back, just to make sure I'm hearing you right. Yeah. Boom, right? He starts to go here. He doesn't have the bait unless he's just real heavy based there. So as he kicks those legs back, worst case scenario, you start coming here, you start kicking through, you know, you have other options available at that point. But most of the time, if they kick those feet back instinctively, they're looking to flatten out, which just makes rolling through easier. Does that make sense? Other questions? One more time for posterity's sake. Boom, I'm here, I'm working. I pull down, he sits up. I come up, here, through, post, finish. Driller out, boys and girls. 1, 2, 3.